Hello, you are listening to Cali Chats, a healthy living podcast with a goal of helping you find true happiness within your mind, body, and soul. I'm Jessie Cali, and it is time to get real. Hey, hello, hi, Jessie is here. Cali Chats is back for another episode. So, welcome back for Season 2, Episode 2 of the Chats. I am calling this one Time to Break Down Barriers. So, this month on the blog and the podcast, we're focusing on that mid-year slump that we all inevitably seem to fall into around this time of year. I'm also going to be sharing how I'm able to break down those barriers and those facades that I guess I just kind of feel like they keep me from being my authentic self. And it also keeps me from doing more of what I love. So I am here to help y'all just try not to do what I do. Honestly, imposter syndrome is real. I don't know if y'all have ever felt that way, but oftentimes when I fall into these slumps, I'm the type of person that starts to think, what do I know? Or why would anyone want to hear what I have to say? And then I start to believe those voices and I stop caring and I stop sharing and I fall deeper into the slump and who knows how many months it will take me to get out. I will just be clawing out of that hole for many months. Seriously, that is how I feel. All jokes aside, I get very just like in my head. And it's so much easier to quit and stop doing what I'm doing than to actually do the work and keep it going. So I want better for all of you. Truly, I want better for you. I want you to know you are not alone in that struggle because trust me, when you tell someone that you're actually feeling that way, I promise you, most often that person to your left and that person to your right has some sense of feeling what you're talking about. They're going to be like, yeah, I totally know what you mean. I felt that last month or whatever. It's that time of year. It's getting warmer, which is great. We love pool time. It is among us. Yay. But it's also that time of year where maybe you realize you haven't quite met those goals you were hoping to achieve by this time. Anyone? We do it. We all do it. We all have those New Year's resolutions, those goals. I know I had them. And you make them so early on in the year. And guess what happens? Sometimes you just fall short. You fall short over half of them, all of them. I don't know. For me, it's pretty high. It's hard. It's hard to keep it going. This year, to share with you kind of like where I was at, it was early on in the year. I knew I needed to get this wedding planned, so that was top of the list. Another thing I tried out is I'm doing Noom right now. So if any of you have done like those weight loss plans with all the different things out there, Weight Watchers, all of that, I am trying Noom. And I will share with you guys how I feel about that once I really start achieving things. But it's interesting. I've enjoyed it because you learn something with Noom. It's not just like count your calories and plug in your stuff. You do that. You do that. But it's more focused on learning and teaching you about your body and about food that like actually helps you. So if you're someone that doesn't know much about that, I didn't. I'm not a nutritionist. I have really enjoyed that. So there's that. But I haven't been doing very good lately because traveling makes tracking hard. I've also been trying to keep up with the gym. I've been doing 3 weekly classes at the gym every week, which I've been doing great, but it's so hard to keep going. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I'm in so much pain. It's so easy to just be like, can't go, busy. So just keeping on that too. And of course, I know I preached about it on the blog, but I was talking about routines, about getting on those daily routines, setting that time for yourself in the morning to do something for you. And I loved that. I was loving that so much. I did it for like a month straight. I was feeling great. I had so much more focused time on things. And then I just stopped. I just stopped doing it. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. Well, I could tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. But all those things I said, like, I'm going to do this weight loss program. I'm going to go to gym classes. I'm going to have daily routines. I'm going to journal. I'm going to do devotionals. Like all that stuff is great. But it's hard when you don't keep yourself accountable. And none of us are alone in that struggle. I do want you to know that if you have fallen short on some of these goals you set for yourself, you are not alone. If there's no one else out there that feels like us, I at least feel like you. But how do we get back? How do we get back on track? How do we break down those barriers to get back to the version of you that you want to be? Well, we're going to walk through that shortly after we get through some more updates about what's going on the blog and the podcast this month. So this month on the blog, we're going to have 2 releases, one from me and one from Jackie. So next week on Tuesday, June 13th, my blog, How to Break Down Your Facades, will post. And then the 2 Tuesdays after that, Jackie's going to have a blog focused on her most recent slump and how she's dealing with that. We are workshopping the title right now, so I can't really say it because I don't know it. Come on, Jackie, get on it. If you are listening, which you should be because you are a co-blog writer, get your stuff together. But anyway, back to today's topic, breaking down barriers. So this goes hand in hand with the blog I'm releasing next week, but there's a lot more tips, tricks, and different stuff that I like to do that I'm putting into the blog. And we're only going to dip into that today because I don't want to take up all your time. So let's get started. I want you to answer for me this one question. It's pretty simple, but what barrier do you feel stands between you and where you want to be right now? Your answer may have been work-related, you-related, family and friends related, whatever the case. What changes need to be made to get there? And how do we get there? It's so much easier to just sit here and say, well, yeah, my barrier is me. And all I need to do is get a routine together and then I'll be fine. But is that easy? No, that's not easy. It's easy to just say it, but is it easy to do it? No. What's harder is doing the work. When you have a job and you're actually working, not on your phone, just sitting there being like, la, 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 like you're actually working, it makes personal self-improvement work incredibly difficult. Straight up. My barrier is me. I am aware. You know that whole song, Flowers? Or no, that's not it. Ooh, don't come for me, Miley fans. I love that song. That is not the song I was talking about. The song I'm talking about is actually Taylor Swift's song. Look at me. I'm a Swiftie. I'm sorry about the Flowers comment. I could have just edited that out, but now I've talked about it for so long, it has to stay in. But anyways, you know how she's like, I'm the problem, it's me. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I know it's me. I am the problem. Almost always when it comes to my mental health, I am the problem. I get in my head and then I just stop all the good work I'm doing for seemingly nothing. For me, at least that's how it feels, is I'm not doing anything. So why am I not doing something? I guess it all gets jumbled up in my head because I have wedding planning, I have traveling, I have dog sitting, I have marketing work, I have all this different stuff I should be doing, but I'm not prioritizing anything. And I'm forgetting to prioritize. You know, it's kind of messed up, right? Like, why am I not? It's so easy to do, but it's not. I keep it moving, I keep it grooving. You know, I do keep it somewhat moving. But I slowly become less and less interested, and I start to forget to prioritize me. Like I've said before, doing these podcasts, these blogs, all this stuff, it's so healing for me. It's like literally so healing, and I can actually say what's going on with me, and then being able to do that helps me work through my issues too. It's so healing, so why am I not doing it? Like, why am I not keeping up with it? What is going on with me, right? And I'll tell you what that is. It's the lack of routine. Like literally, it is the lack of a routine. Since I work for myself, I make my own schedule, which yes, I'm sure sounds glamorous. And it is. Let me tell you, I do enjoy it, but it is a loose leash. Your girl is on the longest retractable leash ever. And I get to do what I want, and that's awesome. But also, if I don't want to do something, no one's forcing me to do anything, which is great. But it's also bad. I have to keep it moving or I literally will not get paid. It's as simple as that. If I don't keep doing something, I will not make money. And we need money to continue living comfortably in life, right? You have to pay bills, you got to pay things that come your way. You have to get groceries. There's stuff you got to do, so you got to get paid. But I get bogged down. I get so bogged down and I get overwhelmed. And then I don't even know why I'm overwhelmed. I'm sure you are overwhelmed hearing me. But I get so overwhelmed and I just bottle up all these feelings until it completely overflows. Until your girl's cup is overflowing and it just flies. And let me tell you, you do not want to be near me on a day of the overflow. Because my goodness, she is a mess. Your girl is a mess on those days. So why do I let it get so close to that? Like, what am I doing? It's so frustrating. I read back my blogs. I'm like, wow, she gets that. That girl, she knew what was up. And then I look at me and I'm like, girl, you need some help. But anyway, thus is life. That's my struggle. I walk through that in the blog as well, but in a different way. I walk through how you can break down the facades that we build up ourselves to protect us. I often do hide my feelings behind this just happy exterior. And a lot of you see that. Like most people that meet me are like, wow, she's so bubbly. She's so fun. She's so happy. And no one thinks, oh, maybe there's something behind that. Maybe there is some pain that she's just hiding through the laughing, Or, actually, fun fact, I just finished watching the show that had Hannah B from The Bachelorette on it. And she's a happy, smiley person too. It's Special Forces. Check it out. Super good. Loved it. Something that she works through on the show is similar to me, where she smiles when she's like uncomfortable or she laughs when she's uncomfortable. So it's not necessarily that she's like super happy. She's just been taught to be happy always. So when you're uncomfortable or when you're nervous or when you're like literally feeling any other emotion, your first initial thing is maybe to giggle, laugh, or just sit there. So not to say that when I'm laughing, I'm always feeling that way. It's just that I may not be like a normal human who feels those emotions and just sits there. I might laugh. I like to feel silence because silence scares me. So I'm a silence filler. Anyway, went off track a little bit there, but that's how I am. I hide my feelings behind this happy exterior, which sometimes is true, but then other times is not. Like sometimes I'm having a bad day and I just need someone to hear me, but I'm not saying it. So how can they hear me? So it takes any of my family and friends a while to know what's going on because I don't say anything. So you cue like a month or so down the road and I'm on my bedroom floor going through cassette tapes when I should be working because that is what I'd rather be doing. I would rather be on the floor going through the cassette tapes because, why would I want to work? You want to know why I do that? Because I like instant gratification, people. I love having something just instantly gratify me. It's hard for me to do things that take a while to pay off because it's just hard to feel like anything's happening. Where's my progress? Where is my gratification? I can't justify it in my brain sometimes. So, is it worth it? Is it worth it to do the hard things that take a while to pay off? Yes, obviously. Is it easy to do? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. So if you struggle with that, with breaking down those walls that you've built up yourself, I want you to check out the blog that's launching next Tuesday because I do share a lot of the activities that help me to keep myself honest and open so that I can be more authentically me. So back to those cassette tapes. Listen, I don't know. I may have some undiagnosed ADHD because sitting still is really tough for me. So making a podcast is also sometimes tough for me. But I love talking. So here's the thing. I love to fill silence. I love talking. So podcasting is pretty good for me. But then I'm, always thinking about moving around. So it's a struggle. But anyway, when Jackie and I last week talked about our Harry Potter audiobook, the recordings we made, I had to find them. It became a goal. Who cares about all those fun goals I made early in the year because this one made more sense. And no, I have not found them yet, and it is super annoying because seriously, why am I wasting my time doing this? I'm not even kidding, no less than 4 boxes full of cassette tapes. Some of these cassette tapes are unopened cassette tapes. They have never been played before. Like, we had some great music up in there, okay? I'm not going to mention them. You don't need to know. I'm just kidding. Anyway, lots of cassette tapes, but I have yet to find the one that Jackie. I don't know why I said it that way, but Jackie and I recorded ourselves. So, whatever, not important. But why am I doing that? Why do I waste all my time on things that I don't need to be doing? It's the lack of routine, people. It's my need for instant gratification to find something. You know, I put something in there and I'm like, ooh, that's fun. If I find that, I'll be so happy, right? Like, I can totally avoid everything else I should be doing. I'll veer off track because I don't really feel like doing anything sometimes. And this is awesome. I'll find it. But I didn't find it, so it's very frustrating. But anyways, it's a never-ending story, people. Let me tell you. Like, Eric and I are traveling next week to Wilmington, and we're going to go visit his brother and his sister-in-law and his niece, and I'm so excited. We finally get to go to the beach and check that out, and we're going to go see downtown. It's so fun. We're so excited. So, what should I be doing this week so that I can soak up the sun next week, so I can spend all my family time and no focus on working at all? So what should I be doing this week? Not looking through cassette tapes. Someone, please send help. Why am I doing this? Listen, Jackie knows what's up. Every day I get a call. She's telling me to set some time aside for myself to get me back on that routine, to routine myself. But that feels like work too, so I'm not doing it totally yet. But I'm getting back to it in small steps. Because small steps, people, can make big change. That's what they say on the Google when you search for motivation. And that is what works for me. Small steps. A big thing that's been helping me is learning to not beat myself up. That has been huge because I am my worst critic. I say that all the time, but it's true. I am not very nice to myself sometimes, and I really do get on to myself. I'm like, why didn't you go to the gym today? Like, why are you being so lazy? Why couldn't you work today? You did nothing. I'm not nice to myself. And so that makes it hard for me to break down these personal barriers I build up. So when I beat myself up, I hold myself back. And when I am kind to myself, I realize that I'm much more likely to pick it back up. The hardest day, at least I feel this way, the hardest day to get back into something is literally the day after you did it. Take the gym, right? You go one day, you're feeling great, but then the next day you're like, should I even go? Like, do I need to? I worked out yesterday. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. I don't need to go today. I don't feel like it. Fight those feelings. I'm telling you, fight those feelings. Because it's so easy to just do that, but then guess what? You don't go tomorrow. You don't go the next day. And then all of a sudden, you gain 5, 10 more pounds. And you're like, well, didn't need the gym, did I? Just go to the gym. Honestly, the gym has been very, very healing for me. Like, I'm telling you, when I go to the gym and I work out, I feel so good after that. Hold on to that feeling. Hold on to how good you feel when you work through these workouts and they help you kind of sweat out all that pain and angst and whatever the heck you're feeling. I sweat it out. Now, not everybody's like that. Some people need to go on a walk. Do a little mindful walk. When I go on my mindful walks, I literally leave everything at home. Now, a lot of people still want to take their phones with them, safety reasons, totally do that. But put it on silent. Put it on do not disturb mode so that you aren't having any of these outlier forces that come in and distract you. Focus on you, focus on your breathing, and get back to where you need to be. Whatever works for you to keep you going and keeping you doing these goals, do it. Something else that really has been a struggle for me too is when I'm being my own worst critic, I tell myself a lot of lies. I tell myself a lot of mean things because telling myself these things, for whatever reason, is just something I've always done. So whether it was something a bully told me when I was a kid or, something that really affected me negatively growing up or something like that, I focus in on those things and I start to believe them. I tell myself that stuff and I'm like, no, it's true. Look at me. That is me, and that's a problem. As easy as that is to say, it's a problem. And about a year ago or so, one of my therapists taught me this little game, I like to call it. Find the lie and speak the truth. So I'm kind of like digging into a little bit of the blog right now. Like the blog, I talk about this there. So go check it out next week too. But I'm going to give you a little taste of how to play this so-called game. Because man, this was helpful for me. Learning this game has really, it's not a game, but like learning this technique or whatever has been very, very healing for me. So I want to teach it to you guys as well, and hopefully it helps you too. So I'm sure you've heard about these like self-affirmations that people talk about. They write them on their mirrors, they put them on post-it notes on their computer. They have them, on their phone. Like I'm sure you've heard of them, right? And I never really was into that for a while. I was like, what is that going to do? What is it going to do if I just repeat things to myself all day? And boy, was I wrong. Because honestly, if you keep telling yourself good things and stop focusing on negative things, it can be that simple, people. When you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't really like the way that looks. I need to lose more weight. Or my arms don't look great. They're ugly. I don't like them. Things like that. You're just going to keep yourself down. But why don't you focus on the truth there, right? What's the lie? What is the lie there? And so the lie for me a lot of times is, I don't like the way that this part of me looks. And the truth is, I'm working on it, right? Like I go to the gym 3 times a week. I do my own workouts here. I've been tracking things and trying to eat better and learning more about my body. I am doing the work. I am doing that. That is the truth. The truth is not that I don't look. I look a lot better than I did 3 months ago, right? And so like focus on the journey. Focus on like what you are doing, not what you're not doing, like cuz that's not true. I was doing a lot of stuff. But it's so much easier to be like, I'm not at my goal yet. Of course, you're not at your goal because you can't be there tomorrow. That's not how it works. You can't lift some weights and then tomorrow all of a sudden it's like, jacked. I'm not taking no steroids, so I can't just get jacked. It takes time. It takes time to get jacked and commitment and consistency. Like that's what it takes. So speak that back to yourself often. Find the truth that works for you. So that's like what I want you guys to do is think of something that you tell yourself that really keeps you down. I don't know what it is, but think about it right now. What's something that you often tell yourself, whether it's something about your looks or something about just anything that makes you feel bad? I don't know what it is, so just say it. And then seek the truth. Speak it out. Look for what that truth is behind that lie. Because what you tell yourself negatively about you is not true. It is not true. But what is true is the good. The bad will keep you down. The good will lift you up. So find it. For me, a lot of it was like my worth. I always struggled with knowing or feeling like I was worth it. So where does true worth come from? True worth comes from within. It's the person I am. So the lie was like, you are not worth it. You are not good enough. But the truth of that lie is true worth comes from within, and I'm doing the best that I can, So find that. I want you to this week, find a self-affirmation, a truth that works for you, and speak it back to yourself often. Keep yourself focused on your goals and your truths. You'll find it's so much easier to tackle when you give yourself some grace and space to get done what you need to get done. Seriously, if you actually give yourself that space, that grace, I know those rhyme. I did not mean to do that, but like now that it does, I'm like, grace and space. Love that. But give yourself some time. Honestly, another huge part, I know I'm like just babbling, but a huge part for me that also helps is accountability. When I'm all on my own inside of these struggles, I fall deeper. And when there's no one checking in on me, I just keep going down, 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 down. And at some point, I'll get back up, right? But it takes a lot longer without a partner. So I urge you to just like text a friend or a family member or anybody in your life that's also going through these different struggles and become each other's like accountability partners. Whether that's like for mental health check-ins or workout check-ins or health check-in, anything like that in general. Check on your people, see how they're doing. Because like me, there's a lot of us out there just hiding behind these happy exteriors, but we have other things going on. And sometimes it just takes a friend just coming out there saying, "Hey, you okay? You haven't been talking much," or "I really haven't heard from you in a while. Like, how are you doing?" I'm not telling you you have to do that, but I'm just saying it might be cool to have those people for you. And for me, like, I have kind of different accountability partners. My sister and I, we're pretty much each other's check ins when it comes to health reasons. So, me trying to do this Noom thing and she does Weight Watchers, just checking in on each other and being like, "Hey, how have you been doing? Like, are you still tracking? Are you losing any weight? Like, how's it going?" And just keeping each other routine to that, like to like know that like I'm here for you if you need to talk about it. But also she keeps me accountable for my job. She keeps me accountable to my routine, being like, "Hey, why aren't you doing that?" And I totally appreciate that. You may have other people, like for me, I have people who check in on me with workouts, because I literally go to these 3 workouts a week with my sister in law to be. And we love it. It's fun. But like we check in on each other. Like, "You're going, right?" "I'm going, you're going." And so since we're doing it together, it's so much easier to keep it going because you feel like you have to do it for the other person too. Like they're going, so I need to go. So I just urge you to check in on some of your friends or find a friend that you think could be that check in for you. And hopefully that'll help you keep attaining these goals that you've set for yourself. My barrier is me. I own that. I am my problem, as we talked about with Taylor Swift's song. Not Miley Cyrus's song. Yours may be you too. Or maybe it's an outlier force, like a partner or a family member or a friend. And if it is the latter of those, my recommendation is finding out exactly what that barrier is and set some boundaries. Boundaries are important. You got to give yourself some space. If you can't get done what you need to get done, if you can't do the things that make you happy, you need to analyze your life. Look at where you're spending your time. Look at who you're spending your time with. See if that brings you joy. If it does not, we need to look at that. We need to find out what outlier force is setting you back. Because let's be honest, you are also the one allowing that to take time away from you. So take back your time. Take back your power because only you can decide where your time is best spent. Okay? We own that, right? I know sometimes when it comes to work or when it comes to relationships or anything like that, you feel like I don't have control over that time. Or if you have kids, right? Like I don't have control over time. You do. Everyone has control over their time because only you can decide where your time is best spent because it's up to you. It always has been up to you. Now, I know like when you do have all these other things affecting you, it can feel like you don't have control over that, but you do. Everyone has control over their time and routining that time to work for you. If you have to have work done at a certain time, like you have to have kids to a place at a certain, like work that into your routine, work that into your schedule, find time for you, carve out some time because you got to. If you don't take that time for you, if you don't set these routines in place, you will start to feel discombobulated. I like the word discombobulated. And I could be alone in that, but I highly doubt that I'm alone in that. I feel like we all struggle with maintaining time for ourselves. But when we, loose routines are fine. Like if you take that time and you're just like, literally just carve out a little bit of time for you and put some me time in there, works wonders. So I'm going to do that. That's my goal for you guys this week is to seek out these truths, speak the truths after you find those lies. That's goal number 1 for you this week. And then the next goal for this week is just getting those loose routines in place, finding time to carve out for just you and build up those boundaries if you need to, but break down those barriers. Okay, like break down those barriers and get back to being the you that you deserve to be, that you yearn to be. Like I want it for you, okay? And I'm gonna do it too because I need this for me too. Jackie knows this. I've been telling her all week. I'm like, I need to get on it. So if I'm getting on it, I need y'all to get on it and we're going to do it together. So I love y'all. I hope you are able to get those two things done this week, and let's get at it, okay? Break down those barriers. All right, have a good one. Love y'all. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate, review, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts. For more from Cali Chats, visit CaliCreates.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Everything is linked in the podcast bio. Talk to y'all later. Bye.